Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddie System, a 911 deep dive podcast hosted by three friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy. I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string. With our powers combined,
No stone is left unturned.
and no Buddie is left behind.
Welcome to the Buddie System.
Taylor's version.
This is our first of 3 holiday specials where we're going to be talking about our favorite 911 characters and how the albums and songs relate to them.
So the characters that we've chosen, because we have 11, the characters that we're going to be attributing to each album is between Bobby, Athena, Buck, Eddie, Hen, Chimney, Maddie, Karen, May, Josh, and Robbie. So we had to, sneak a couple of our more supporting characters in here.
Who we wish were mains.
Yes, like so much.
They used to be a man.
I know, I miss her
I know.
so much.
And I miss bring Ravi back.
Bring Robbie home.
Give Josh storylines.
Give Josh a storyline, bring Ravi home, bring May back in, and give Karen peace.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways, that is our plea.
We're trying to manifest it right now, we're assigning them Taylor Swift albums, we're giving them importance, putting it out in the universe. I know that you all know that we are obsessed with 911.
What? Shocking.
But I bet you didn't know,
Where?
or maybe you just assumed about all of our titles.
If you haven't caught on
So I bet
by
you
now,
didn't know. It should not
Newsflash.
come as a surprise, actually, that we are big Taylor Swift fans. So something that we have been wanting to do since the beginning is to assign all the Taylor Swift songs to characters. But first, we're going to, in this episode, talk about which album each character is. And we're not doing it in the traditional way of where you would be like, let me look at the lyrics and let me see how overall who has the most songs. No, we're just going by vibes strictly in this one.
Pure vibes.
Pure vibes.
Very subjective.
This is not very scientific in this one.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Still did a lot of homework on this before I was like, actually.
You don't have to.
Listen, just know that my choices are really just half based on vibes and half maybe I did look at some lyrics. So
That's valid.
Mhm.
so it's 2 different methods.
Like a little cocktail of vibes and like totally not supportable and things that can be supported. I don't know. Like some of them I have reasons and some of them I'm just like, I just felt
Vibes.
this way.
I mean, I have reasons. Are the reasons canonical? Are the reasons anything I can point to? Or just things I made up in my head? Who knows?
Or were they inspired by fanfic?
Also
Possibly that
valid.
too, actually. I don't actually remember any specific... Like, I know that, like, Taylor Swift has come up a lot in fanfiction. And it's normally Buck, who is the Swiftie. But I can't remember, like, him being, like, leaning towards one album or another. But anyway, I think mine are also going to come with a secret or a divergent in parentheses. It could also be this character.
Because you can't choose. Yeah.
Because I can't choose for a couple of these.
It was very difficult because we have 11 albums, right? So we had to choose 11 characters. So we have like our main, like we've got the Fire Fam, and then we had to kind of like pick and choose who else are we going to include. And some of these were really hard just because like, for some more of our like characters in supporting roles, we don't know as much about them as we would like to. So it was a little difficult to just kind of be like, okay, they fit here. And it was a little like process of elimination sort of thing, like whether we started with those characters
Literally.
and then, or what's the obvious ones that jump out to us sort of thing.
Yeah.
And go from there. I know we were talking about it last night and Sil and I were continuing to talk about it, and it was like, I was like going back and forth between like 2 or 3. I was just like, does it go here? Does it go there? I don't know. It's not that big a deal, but it was just fun.
I moved most of these around like 3 times.
This was like the worst matching test I've ever had to take. And I took it very seriously. A little match by the letters and the number thing.
You did. You were very
You're
organized.
very
with
studious.
it. Yeah. I was very impressed. I was like, "Ooh, Scylla knows what she's doing."
So this one's just a bit of just like silly, goofy fun for the most part. But when we're going to talk about like individual songs, that's where, I mean, I think we're all very serious about that. And we've been waiting. Like normally I would like be going through when I get into a show or a movie, whatever, when I get obsessive with characters, I go through Taylor Swift's discography and my other favorite artists and assign songs to playlists, to characters. And I've been holding off on doing that for these episodes. So super excited to finally be getting around to that in pieces.
I think with those like individual albums where we're really going through the track list, you'll see a lot more of our like typical, deep diving, analytical
into like character analysis.
Yeah, character analysis. And this one is just a little more like chilled out, silly, goofy. Yeah. I mean, when are we not silly, goofy? Let's be so real. But
and this is our Thanksgiving episode, so we're not trying to like bring more drama to your dinner table, No.
Just lighthearted.
No more family fights than you already have.
Unless they're going to fight us.
I mean, this wouldn't be a fight. Like, I think I'm open to ideas for all of these.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always open to hearing your ideas. I probably won't agree with you, but please do come talk to us about like your thoughts on who you think is which album, because
absolutely
we are like weirdly invested in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like really tell us which character is which album to you based on your interpretations, your vibes. It's all fun here.
Should we start?
I think so. I'm excited.
Me too. Oh my God. This is like our first like actual special.
Like not talking about an episode special.
Yeah, not talking about like episodes or the season as a whole. Like so exciting to be a little loosey-goosey.
Ooh.
Also a little nerve-wracking.
We're
that I don't have a roadmap.
We're winging it a little bit, but
it's fine.
We have confidence. Take flight. I have confidence enough for all of us.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Someone should.
I got you.
So, actually, before we get into this, really quick, what album are you guys? What album are we?
I'm not prepared.
That's not a good question right now.
Oh, it kind of depends on what day you ask, right?
Mm-hmm. You can pick 2, because I have 2.
Okay. Ooh, so interesting. Because like sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm absolutely this one, and then other times I'm like, am I though? I don't know. I have to think. Hey, and since you sprung this on
quintessential,
why don't you give us a
quintessential of my personality in general? Red.
Yeah,
Red, I think, is a big one for sure, but also Evermore, which was a sleeper hit for me. I was so obsessed with Folklore, and Evermore kind of like flew under the radar for a little bit.
What made it jump so high?
Actually listening to it on repeat, because I think I like only listened to it a couple times when it came out, and then like really liked a couple of the songs, but didn't like, memorize everything like I normally do. So then when I finally got into it, I was like, oh,
So I'm one of those people who really actually like, I've always listened to like the hit singles for Taylor Swift, but the album that I actually listened to for the first time fully through was Folklore. So it's going to be that. But my second one, I feel like based on vibes, Reputation, but I don't think all of the songs there actually fit.
It doesn't have to be. This is overall album, It's like, what era are you?
I don't know. Vibes also, I don't know. I actually don't know. It's like between Reputation, Red. I think a little bit of Speak Now. But number 1 really is Folklore.
I don't think I knew that you were a Folklore girly.
Really?
I love that little bit of soul lore.
Sure?
I'm pretty sure that I did not like
you were there
that up here. I mean, I think
You all were there.
It's great that you think that I have a good memory, because I surely don't.
I mean, it was 4 years ago when it came out, so I mean.
Oh, I mean, I do remember us getting really into the album, but I didn't know that it was like
that's the one
album for you.
Well, it was because, so like, you know, growing up in high school, it's like you either love Taylor Swift or you hate Taylor Swift. So I was friends with a group of people that did not really like or care for Taylor Swift. So, so it was kind of like I had to be in the closet.
Not the Taylor Swift closet.
I mean, so Taylor Swift is, her and I are from very close together. Like, her hometown is like half an hour from my hometown, and she's only like 2 years younger than me. So, I was not listening. Taylor Swift was not playing in high school.
Yeah.
For me. So when she came out, her debut album, I was working in retail, and Teardrops on My Guitar made me hate this woman for years. Because it was just on repeat.
Oh, I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah. And then also, you know, like, I am an emo hipster, so I had to be, if it wasn't pop music that like I grew up with, I wasn't super getting into it unless it was like stuff that I was like, you know, out and I was like dancing to. So I had to have a friend be like, okay, you actually need to listen to Taylor Swift though, and made me get into like a handful of her songs, and started with You Belong With Me.
Aww.
But I didn't listen and get into her like for real with a full album and like start descending into the madness of like listening to everything, learning about the lore, learning about, you know, everything that a general Swiftie does until Lover. That was my first album, which I think is a highly underrated album.
Yeah, I think so.
Rachel, you've had time to think.
Okay, so I think if I were an era, like, I'm not sure that, like, because I don't tend to listen to it all the way through, like Taylor's version, like everything. But I think if I were an era, I would be Fearless era.
Duh. I could have told you that 10 minutes ago.
I know, but I was just like, I had to feel it in my heart, which may like track. Yeah, I feel like just like the vibe of the Fearless era. I'm like, yeah, that's probably a little bit of me.
I feel like it's her most optimistic album.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
But like, I think what I listen to the most is either Midnights or 1989.
I love
like
1989.
1989's a good second choice for you, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. And it was like, I've listened to Taylor Swift for like a long time. I kind of fell off a little bit between like Red and 1989, but like I still listen to it, just not like as consistently. But then I got back into it like with Reputation and everything. So it was, I mean, honestly, it wasn't that very long that I was like on the outs. I still knew everything. But so like I feel like I didn't have as much appreciation for 1989 until it got closer to like the Taylor's version coming out. And then I was like, wait, all of these songs are a bop. Yeah, I think Fearless 1989 for me.
Those are our albums, and I think that we should talk about what characters are which albums. That's what we came here to do. So let's just go, we'll go in order from
release order,
and start with debut.
Taylor Swift. If I do that for every one of those, are you going to be annoyed with me?
No.
Okay.
So let's debut the series off with debut.
I put this as Josh.
I also put this as Josh.
I think I saw, Sil, you put him in for debut first, and I was like, wait, why do I kind of love that?
So my thought process was, so this is one of those choices that I did not go really off as vibes. You know, full disclaimer. It was kind of more or less how I'm sorting these characters and their albums, like the other half of my process, not the vibes. It really was kind of like what were their storylines. So I did look at some of the lyrics. That storyline where he dated someone that one guy who ended up being like that took over
That
like
guy.
the dispatch center. I don't remember his name.
Oh, the con
Yeah.
The con guy.
man?
Yeah.
I
So,
just
like-
watched that episode.
What was his name?
I don't know.
He was just the bad guy.
Okay, so I feel like Debut has a lot of like maybe wanting to be in a relationship or observing other people's relationships, and then there's some naivety in there. And then you have some songs in there like, well, I'll let Rachel explain that one better than me. But there's some songs in there that I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna put him in here.
Yeah, I think I don't know. And again, we're not doing like all of the track listing, but I was just like, you know, sometimes things just jump out to me, and I was like, the Picture to Burn gay version is absolutely a Josh like kind of vibe. Like sometimes, I don't know. I just thought that was really funny.
That song is actually 10 times funnier if you think of it from the point of view of a gay man.
Yeah. So I'm just like, Josh would absolutely like sing Picture to Burn, but like the redacted version.
Gay people get to say the redacted version.
Exactly.
I'll make the rules.
He
Yeah.
would. So like that I think was a major factor in like the vibe of that to me, because that's just like Josh's kind of like a little bit of cattiness, you know, like when he went toe to toe with Eddie, and it was just like oh, just a little
The gay on gay violence?
yeah. That's it. I love Josh so much though, and I feel like there is a lot of like youthfulness here, but a little like kind of like yearning a little on the outside, I guess, which is one of the songs. Like not as folded in, but still like, you know, wanting to experience everything. And to me that just felt like Josh.
And also just give the man a boyfriend already. A good one, please.
Please.
Give him a storyline where he actually gets to like do something happy, because every storyline he's ever had, they just torture him.
Yeah, enough of that. Give Josh some happiness.
So those are very valid points. I, however, assigned Debut to Bobby. This is a pure vibes. So like the way that I did these album sorts is really all over the place, because I was either doing like pure vibes and being like what I think the characters listen to based on a myriad of reasons, but also some of them I was like, all of these songs are about them. So this one is more, I think this is what he listens to. And I think this is what he listens to,
I could see
first
that.
of all, because he is a Minnesota boy, and I think he actually likes some more country music. And I also think that, sorry to bring down the mood a little bit, but I also think that this reminds him of his family, because he had a little girl, and I believe the ears match up for her to have been into Taylor Swift. So...
Wow, you just made
and
it
being a certified
so
girl
sad.
dad, being a certified girl dad, you know, would have known all of the words and sang it with her, like while they drove to school or whatever. So that's how I thought about it.
You know what that like imagery is giving? It's giving from the bear. God, I forget the characters.
I haven't watched the second season, but I know what scene you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, where I forget the name of the character, but it's cousin, not Carmi, and he's just like in his car and he's like singing to Taylor Swift. I think it's Love Story.
It might be. We'll also have you guys seen the Ryan Gosling stunt movie. What the fuck is it called?
Fall Guy. I have not seen it. I want to.
I haven't.
Do you know about the scene where he is
it All Too Well? Yeah.
like cry singing All Too Well.
Yeah, I feel like
that's cinema. Yeah, it's giving that.
I feel like I could really see Bobby just kind of like, you know, busting out like the CD.
I feel like he
car.
could, and I feel like he couldn't listen to it for a really long time, and now I think he probably like goes out on, you know, little drives or hikes by himself and listens to it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So that's my super canonical, not made up reasons. for why Bobby is debut.
Oh, I love that. I like these answers so far. It's kind of fun.
I know.
It's like it's a fun mishmash of weird reasons.
Whatever we want,
Yeah.
we're
It's
making the rules.
because
We're in charge.
making the rules. It's because we say so. But like, it's fine.
Should we move on to Fearless?
Fearless. I told you I'll do it every time. It won't sound
Beat you.
perfect, but
Too slow.
Aw. Fearless.
Okay, so I picked Maddie for Fearless.
Aw.
So this one was off of Vibes, but then I kind of like digged because okay, so Fearless isn't really like the album that I've really listened to or really cared for. I feel like I'm going to get roasted.
It's your opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion.
It's not my cup of tea. Like, I like some songs off of here a lot, but like,
Mhm.
I don't listen to this album the whole way through, like literally ever, or debut.
Mm.
So yeah, and that's it, right? So like I had to listen to some of the songs on here that aren't like the radio hits, like "You Belong with Me," blah 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 blah. What else? "Story of Us"? No, that's the "Story
That's
of Us" in here.
now.
Speak
That
Now.
one.
Sorry. So you, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
This one has
Doesn't
15 and Love Story and White Horse.
Right.
Like, pretty much the beginning of the album is like where the hits are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So they're
The Way I Loved You's on here though, which is one of my
Oh.
favorites.
So like there were some songs that I gravitated towards, which was like "Tell Me Why," and I think the other one was "You're Not Sorry," and I was like, so a lot of it was like Maddie and her situation with Doug, and then I was also kind of looking at like what Taylor said about the albums, and I guess like the title of the album specifically, and she was like, oh well, Fearless isn't about being fearless, it's about having all of those fears and navigating. So I feel like that's kind of Maddie, because she's
I love that.
she's literally navigating through all of the like the worst things you can imagine.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Understatement.
picked Maddie for that.
I love that. That works really well.
Great. Actual research.
I know. Still.
I know, for
our
once.
academic
Clutch.
of the evening, like
And that's where I landed. That's it. That's where the research ends, because then you guys burst my bubble, and I was like, so
No, but that kind of level research is what we should do for like the albums. I didn't do it for TTPD because like that just happened and I remember.
yeah,
So-
there's a recency
Yeah,
bias,
yeah.
like
Well,
yeah.
and it's well not a recency bias, but we just like
oh, I
we're
can't wait to
still
talk
in it.
about TTPD and be
Oh
like,
my god.
unfortunately, there are some certain people that color my perception of this album. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think Maddie for this is a good read.
That is a good one. I put Ravi. I had a lot of trouble placing Ravi because I want to know more about Ravi. And we have like these little snippets here and there. So I was trying to like channel that into something, and I was just having a really tough time with him. I hate to say it was like a little process of elimination thing, because I feel like that undervalues him, and I don't undervalue him. I value him so much. But I guess like for a similar reason. So when you were saying, because I also saw, or I think you were mentioning it to me, the whole idea of Fearless, like having those fears and still being like optimistic about stuff. So I was like, how can I fit that with Ravi? So, but I guess it's like, from what we know of him, like he spent a lot of his childhood being sick. Like, I guess he had cancer, and he decided to devote his life to, kind of paying it forward sort of thing. So that just had like that air of like do-goodedness. We're going to pretend like that's a phrase. And just so, I guess, pure of heart. And that kind of feels like the general like whole of Fearless to me. Even the parts where, I think it was season 6, where Ravi had to go, like, was back at the academy and was kind of thinking like, maybe this isn't cut out for me because of it was, I think, him seeing the car driving off the pier into the ocean, and just like, that really throwing him for a loop sort of thing, and like making him like scared and nervous about stuff, but still kind of like going to do it anyways, being like taking that, but continuing on and being fearless. I don't know. That's kind of what I landed on. But yeah, I guess like the wholesomeness and optimism, and I feel like Ravi would have needed to really hold on to that kind of perspective, like that kind of world outlook, and like from a young age, and would continue to carry that through to present day, I guess. So that's that.
That makes sense.
I was trying to make it make some sort of sense.
Make some sense.
Yeah. What did you have?
I have Athena on this one.
Aww.
For kind of similar reasons that Syl said for Maddie. And I didn't even know about the, like, it's not about being fearless. It's about, like, being scared and doing the things anyway. And I really feel like when I think about this album in general, I think about, like, kind of like sunshine love, like really optimistic. And when I think of mom and dad... And I just think of, like, that love story for her and, like, how joyous it is for her.
Love story.
Yes. Love story. Fearless. You
belong with me, obviously.
Like, on the other side of the coin, you have, like, forever and always for Michael, Mr. Perfectly Fine. We were happy.
Yeah, so
that's a good call on those Taylor version.
Yeah, but I think mostly the big thing that again tipped me was thinking about what the character would listen to, and I don't think that this is again necessarily like what she would maybe gravitate towards naturally musically, but I think that again the timeline matches up for this to be probably one of the first Taylor Swift albums that May listened to. So this is probably like her introduction to it, and she probably has a lot of very sweet memories of May and like dancing and singing around.
That's so cute. So I love that you connected both Bobby and Athena to that as well.
Like, I know, and then after I did that, I was like, okay, that's actually perfect. They can't move.
Yeah. That's really
because now they're the foundation too, right?
Oh, that's so so good
sense.
that everything else is then like built off of.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because I feel like we all had very similar reasonings, but we ended up like somewhere different with this one.
Yeah,
but it all like stands true. Shall we do Speak Now?
Yeah, I guess it appears this is the first one that we all agree on.
Our first unanimous album.
This is the decree.
If we all agree, does it mean
system
this is law?
Stamp.
This is law. No, it's not. But
I'll tell them that.
It's official for the Buddy System Taylor's version. So,
yeah.
So who did we all decide? Like individually, I think we helped each other a little bit with some of these, but like we generally landed on
May.
our own decision.
Yeah.
Little Miss May.
Little Miss May.
May Grant.
Could not get out of my head, like, picturing her dancing around to this. I don't know. It's very, like, just, like, youthful. And it runs the gambit of, like, emotions, too. And, like, when you're a kid, you have, you know, you're in this itty-bitty body and you're feeling all of these emotions.
So many emotions.
Yeah, this one for me just gives a lot of high school. And then, also how I think there's some songs in here that are kind of like reactive songs. And it makes me think about her and Claudette. Is it Claudette?
Yeah, it's Claudette.
Her and Claudette. So, you know, you've got Mean, you've got Better Than Revenge. You know, and then I'm sure like she could put herself in castles crumbling down somewhere. Yeah, I mean that's my reasoning. It's very high school, and then she's got like it's the reactive.
Yeah, it kind of like feels, I guess also like if you're looking at, you know, the Taylor Swift albums as like, you know, ages and growing in maturity, like as
Life experiences.
Taylor grows with life experience. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Speak Now would kind of be that like teenager or like older adolescent, like that kind of.
Well, she started writing some of these songs when she was like 17, right?
I think this was like between 17, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think she started writing it like while she was touring for Fearless.
I think it has some of that like quintessential mood swing, not in like a bad way, but
it's
like
very theatrical. That's how I think of it. It's very like,
it's a little dramatic in certain aspects in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
But it's very much like songs as storytelling of like telling stories of like not just fairy tale book, but you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I think of them in general, where it's like when I look at fucking, oh my God, which one is it? Speak Now. When I look at Speak Now, I'm like, that is such a quintessential like teenager fantasizing about like interrupting. These are very like fantastical kind of songs.
Yeah.
In a way. And I think like as a teenager or even a preteen, like they'd just be so much fun to like, spin around in your room and dance to it and have a lot of fun with it. And like Long Live is on here too.
I kind of think that like with the experiences, like the life experiences that May has had, and this is not necessarily just for like when she's a teenager, but like growing up to whatever age she is now, like early 20s, I feel like she's seen and experienced so much in such a short amount of time.
She's 23 now.
Something like that?
Because I think she was 2001.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe with Speak Now, it's just like you're cramming in so much to just like one little like piece of the pie. If this makes sense. I don't know. I was just thinking there's something about how like things that May has seen or experienced. I mean, granted, everyone in 911 because it's like it's a dramatized show, but like there's like the really high highs and the really low lows, and I feel like Speak Now has like you said, it like runs the gamut.
And she would have been 9 when this came out, so like
pivotal.
I just think that's such like I'm just thinking about 9-year-old me if I had this album, me who loved to like play dress up and like choreograph little dances for my family to watch me like while I sang and danced around to them. This would have been such a good album to do that to.
Like it still has the optimism and like childlike wonder that Fearless has, with a little bit more maturity and depth of feeling that I feel like May would be able to relate to, right? Because she is generally like a happy character, but she has
except for when we meet her,
like, but she has things that like she's dealing with, but that end up like precluding that. So it's just kind of a little bit of, it's like a little bit of everything, right? In a nice little package.
Also, I was just, did we talk about Innocent and Claudette?
No.
Innocent, no.
Please do. I forgot about that.
Just Innocent and Claudette. Like, I don't know if that needs any further explanation because we'll probably talk about it when we do the album. But like, I just feel like a lot of these songs, even though like, we don't know anything about her romantic life, a lot of these songs still work for her. So yeah, I don't know.
I feel confident about
it.
Speak Now in May.
Works.
Just works.
Okay. So Red.
Red. How do you do that one? I forget.
Red.
Oh, thank you. I failed.
Loving was red.
I picked Buddie. Now this pick was mostly based off of vibes and process of elimination, but also, I don't know. I feel like since we're talking about like the maturity levels of some of these albums, so yeah, like if he had to listen to an album, I think my brain just thought Red, because yes, debut, like it's got that country in there, but I feel like Red is a little bit more
That's country too.
Yeah.
Red has country, but it's like more, it's less childish.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, you've got this fucking Snow Patrol guy in there. I don't know. I don't know.
That one jumped out at you.
That one's the one that jumped out at me, and I'm like, yeah, no. Bobby is listening on his way to the fire station to fucking. This is the last time, and that's it. That's this one was purely based on vibes.
I also put Bobby, and I was having trouble with it. I think because when we were coming up with this concept and like I actually started thinking about, okay, who would I put with where? My brain just got stuck on Bobby as Red, and I was trying to like, okay, well let's explore some other options. Let's look at some other things for him. But for some reason, I was just hooked on it and I couldn't let that one go. And I think it's probably the inclusion of more like religious like theming with like State of Grace and Holy Ground that probably like got its little hooks in my brain on this one. So it's
I have to say there's so many more religious references in debut, but continue.
I mean, I'm kind of less familiar with that, but that's just what my brain decided to go with. But so it's mostly vibes, but I think it's also a little bit of. Oh, I was trying to think. I came up with a reason last night, and I should have wrote it down, and I didn't. I don't know. I think it's like a really well balanced album. Do you not think so? Or
I was just laughing because people do not think this is a well balanced album because it is kind of all over the place. But that's one of the reasons I really love it.
He's a silly dude sometimes.
He is a silly dude.
Yeah, I think that was part of, like, when we were discussing it briefly, I think that is part of the reason, because he would, Mr. Cab Dracula, like,
I love him so much.
I love how still you were like, oh my God. Well, both of you were like, oh my God, Rachel, it's just you. And I was like,
Rachel, is that you?
We didn't know Rachel was guest starring.
I was like, yeah, that's me.
Number 1 or 2 on the call sheet. Rachel, no way.
She's got her Bobby mask on.
Just call me the pun master.
And dad.
I feel like there's stuff that like Bobby could lean into with some of the more lighthearted, more poppy stuff, like, 22, I Knew You Were Trouble, like that sillier, goofy side. But then it is also like very grounded in some of those other songs on the album. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that like the song All Too Well is attributed to him, but like just the like how I'm trying not to use the same meaning, like reasons for everything, where it's just like you have the high highs and the low lows, but like you have, it's more like the silly, goofy lightheartedness, but also like the really like ground, like something to ground that in, and I feel like that's kind of Bobby-ish. This was mostly vibes, and mostly some of my favorite songs on the album are State of Grace and Holy Ground.
Also, I don't know what it is, but, and this is reaching. This is like, this is not going to make sense to you guys at all, but my brain goes Taylor Swift, Red, radio hits. And then this is also the same guy who's like, Flan is the bomb. I don't know. I'm like, okay, so like he's kind of like,
they have the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I guess I could just picture the like if he got caught listening to Taylor Swift, I feel like it would be this album. And it would be like either We're Not Getting Back Together as a song, like just out of nowhere, just like starts blasting on speakers, or it's the other one. What is it? 1, 2. I Knew You Were Trouble.
Oh,
and 22, I guess.
Goat version.
Goat version. That's why. Yeah. that's why he got introduced. He was like, what is that?
Chimney showed him
The meme.
I
I was gonna be like, it was either Buck or
version.
Chimney that
Yeah.
showed him the meme, but I feel like
Yeah.
that would be Chimney.
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely Chimney.
Yeah, so it's mostly vibes, and I think this was like one of the only ones where I was like, yeah, I think that he would listen to this album maybe the most. But I think that's the only time that I actually did that kind of thinking for it.
This is my first album that I have secret's second option. Not really a secret. It's just that Buck, I know, shocking to anyone listening to the pod more than once. As a Buck girly, I have assigned him more than one album. So this is one of them, but I had to go with a different one, I think, because it aligns more with who he is now. But since he cannot have this one, he can only have one. The second place, the runner-up, is Maddie. And I think that I want to start off by talking about Ronan. Because that is very Maddie and Daniel coded.
Oh man. And I can't listen to that one very often.
I can't either. It's really hard to listen. I pretty much only listen to it when I'm watching people react to the album. Because I like watching other people cry.
Wow. How cancer of you.
Well, it's like they go from State of Grace acoustic version, and then they're like, why are we crying? What are we doing? But yeah, so I think that this has a lot of like upbeat, optimistic, like Maddie coded songs that really fit for her and Chimney, like State of Grace and Red. If you don't think about it from a past, I'm looking at this not very deeply. I'm looking at it from surface level. Okay, please don't come for me. This is not the deep analysis right now. Yeah. Okay, going through like the vibes. So State of Grace and Red and Stay. Holy Ground. Everything has changed. Starlight. Begin again. Come back, be here.
I get what you're putting down.
I feel like I can look at Forever Winter about like her and Buck. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with that song. So
yes, please. Because like
it's a really, really good song. It's kind of sad if you like know the lore behind or the supposed lore about it. Is that it's about one of her best friends from high school who like overdosed. So, but it's a really beautiful song, and the way it's written is that it's like not like in the past tense, and it's like about like if you want to think about like Noah Kahan's Call Your Mom. It's kind of like that similar kind of vibe, you know, where it's like, you know, I'm gonna be there for you, and like I don't know like who I'd be without you, and like I didn't know you were going through this, but like of course I will drop everything and be there for you, kind of thing. So I just thought about it that way, not just because like they were apart a lot, but because, you know, not just as childhood Buck, who obviously went through a lot and she had to be there for him a lot, but as adulthood Buck, who we clearly see go through some very dark, kind of depressive episodes. I kind of think that fits with him. And then some of the you know, more sad, like a breakup songs are kind of still more like but I wish we could still be together kind of vibes. Except for we are never getting back together.
Yeah.
And All Too Well. And I think those ones still fit with Maddie and Chimney, like on their hiatuses. That's what I like to call them.
We were on a break. No, they were on a break. I feel like I'm just like less familiar with Red, especially the Taylor's version, like with all of the bonus songs, and Fearless too. There was so like little fanfare for these that I feel like I haven't absorbed them into my being as much as like 1989 and like Speak Now, and you know, and I feel bad.
When I tell you, before Taylor's version, Red came out, I really only listened to 3 songs on this album, and not even heavily. And then when Taylor's version came out, I was like, wow, just at me.
Yeah, I guess
those
really
vault
like,
songs are her best, are up to this point, I think, her best vault songs. Like, You Gotta, oh my God, Nothing New, I Bet You Think About Me, Forever Winter. I really like Run. I love anything she does with Ed Sheeran. I'm a sucker for. Anyway, you guys should. It's a really good album. I think it really fits Maddie. It more so fits Buck, but like, sorry.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, if I listen to it again, like, maybe even for similar reasons that you said, I'm sure I could find ways to relate it to Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll do this when we go through, like,
Oh yeah,
this will be a great opportunity.
Be like, where are they now?
The actual track list and just be like, we can revisit it and just be like, okay, so actually going through each of these like in more depth as opposed to just like vibe. Because I was just kind of like,
now that we've uncorked the Taylor Swift battle,
right?
It's never going back on.
Yeah, so we could probably just like revisit what we sorted them as. That once we get like better understanding. So this is a little bit like a before and after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at this point we've only really gone through one entire album, but we already knew who that was before we went through it.
Oh yeah. That one I think was the easiest one.
Yes. She wrote it about him.
She binge watched 911 one day and was like,
I gotta write an album.
Listen, if Adele could do it, if Adele is one of the 911 girlies now.
And we know that Taylor Allison Swift loves Grey's Anatomy, so I'm just saying that she likes this genre.
And also, now we have like, what is like the Bacon number, because we have Travis Kelce in Grotesquerie, which is a Ryan Murphy show. So that's like a Bacon score of what, like 2 or 3?
Taylor Swift entering the Ryan Murphy cinematic universe.
I mean,
so Tim Minear is the Taylor Swift of network television.
We've said it before, we will say it again.
But we're going to talk about 1989.
Ah, yes.
This is our second one that we agree. We all three agree.
And it is Chimney. Based completely on vibes. But I implore you to tell us
otherwise.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a headcanon that I don't even know why I have it, because I'm not invested in this other artist. Apropos of nothing, I have a headcanon for the backstory of why he loves this album, which is that he is a big Harry Styles fan.
Wait, I love this.
And he loves what? Gossip, the tea.
Oh, okay. You're so right. You're so right.
Wait, no, this is so perfect. I didn't even think about this like this. Man, this is perfection.
And he's doing that thing that some like I love watching reactors do, who love an artist that she is writing the song about. And they're like, sorry, it's a bop. So he's listening to them like, I'm sorry, man, but it's a bop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, you're so right, because Chimney absolutely would love Harry Styles. Like I'm pulling an absolute blank, because I am the resident Harry Styles fan here, and I am shaming
the only
myself. I'm shaming
I'm
myself.
not anti-Harry Styles, I just no investment.
Just like, yeah. Everything Harry Styles, I feel like Chimney would really appreciate, like, purely on vibes first, and then he would like learn a little bit more, and he would be like, actually, this guy is like pretty cool, and you know, pop culture king Chimney would then have to like, I know mostly it's movie stuff, but like he would absolutely have to like absorb everything, and with the Taylor's version of 1989, and just like, oh my gosh, and he like connect the dots, and it's like about my man Harry Styles.
I think he likes, again, in my head, none of this is based in canon. I have so many random headcanons about Chimney, but
I want to hear all of them someday.
Like I was like, oh, he would love Harry Styles because he loves in my head, he loves all of the artists that influence Harry Styles' music, and he likes those genres. So then he was like, actually, this all really slaps and like has a nice twist of his own stamp on it. And then was like, okay, actually, I'm obsessed.
And it's just like I think sonically 1989 just feels the same way Chimney feels.
Yeah.
When I think about him, just like,
which is just cool.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, it's just cool.
Which is so funny because I don't think he feels like he's cool.
No, he doesn't at all.
But he is the coolest person. I mean, Hen too. Him and Hen.
Yeah.
The coolest. But like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's also like when they pull up to scenes with like their sunglasses.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I know everyone else does it. I don't really care. But them specifically, they just look so cool. And they're just like, yeah. And I mean, they're also like actually doing like the medical stuff. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. They got a cooler vibe than the two idiots over there. So.
Like, I can just hear Blank Space and Style playing in the background as they roll up, just looking cool anywhere they go.
Yeah. It's when they're feeling themselves and they are embracing like their confidence, you know, when they don't have something tragic and terrible going on that they're focusing all of that energy on. When it's just like baseline Chimney, it's the cool factor.
Also, he wanted to do like all of the like more stunt like maneuvers.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. I mean that this is Chimney. 1989 is Chimney, and 1989 is cool, and he's cool.
I just have a couple just brief songs. So, Out of the Woods, All You Had to Do Was Stay, Wildest Dreams, How You Get the Girl.
Yeah.
This Love.
You Are in Love.
What else? You Are in Love, obviously.
Yes. New Romantic.
Oh my god, yeah. But I was listening to all the Maddie songs.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because again, even the ones that are like anxiety situationship, it's giving Maddie hiatus times, you know?
Yeah. Chimney is cool. 1989 is cool. Kenneth Choi is super cool. Like,
yeah.
What higher praise can we give?
None. He should be honored that we gave him this album.
I hope so.
Yeah, he should.
I would also give Kenneth Choi this album.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait till when we do get into like the full track list and sorting the songs. That's going to be really fun.
There's definitely
but there is so much like Chimney and Maddie together, but also like Chimney. Like, it's just like breath of fresh air sort of thing, which I guess kind of goes with like the Taylor's version aesthetics, like at the beach with the seagulls and, you know, just like,
just being very cool.
Nice. Yeah.
So, are you ready for it?
God damn it.
I feel like I do that every other episode.
I was banking on someone doing it.
We're going to wait till the Taylor's version comes out and to do like the full. Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
When we catch you, Reputation Taylor's version, when we catch you.
Imagine it's already announced by the time this episode comes out.
A Reputation lowercase version, because that's all we know right now.
I picked Athena for this one because vibes, but also because, like, if I had to picture her listening to an album, it would be this one. And I think this album balances kind of like it's got like that badass vibe. And then it also has like some of the, you know, more romantic love songs. So it's kind of like one of those, you kind of see this album as one thing, but there's a different meaning once you get through the actual like track list and listen to some of those songs. You got King of My Heart, Getaway Car. Also, you've got like some of the radio hits like Look What You Made Me Do. I don't know. Like some of these are very, to me, are kind of like Athena things, just her rolling up and doing what she does best.
Yeah. I mean, I also put Rep as Athena. I felt like that was maybe a more obvious choice. I think I was trying to not put her with that because that was my initial thought. So I was trying to like go against that. I guess similarly to how I was trying to not put Bobby with my immediate, you know, first thought. Like I was trying to think it through a little bit more, but I do similarly to Sil. I feel like with Reputation, you get that kind of bait and switch a little bit, or like that duality that I think we do see with Athena, where it's like, you know, on the outside, it does look very like a little, like a tougher exterior. But then when you kind of get into it a little more, there's a lot of tenderness that is very apparent, and it like is actually woven through so much of it. And I feel like that is an aspect of Athena as well, because she has to, put on that tougher exterior, and she is always like, like a very tough lady, and she's a badass and everything like that. But when she takes off her uniform and she's at home, it's a lot softer, and she still has like, of course, those moments, but it's like, like the softer underbelly. So it's I like the balance of the armor and then taking the armor off. And I feel like that gave me Athena too. There you have it.
I'm not mad at that. I originally had Maddie here. But I was down to like the wire and still didn't know where I was putting Karen. And I was like, Karen is not red. So
no.
And then I thought about it and I was like, actually, I love this one for her for kind of similar reasons. Because we do see a lot of softness from her because of her being a very loving partner and her being such a great mom. But we do see some sassiness from her, and she is very confident and smart and very, a lot of qualities that we just talked about with Athena.
I mean, they do have some similar qualities.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But, so like specifically though, I was kind of thinking a lot about her and Hen's relationship. Because this is kind of like a falling in love album, right? And so I was like, Endgame would be super cute, delicate, so it goes gorgeous.
Good.
King of my heart, dress, absolutely. Call it what you want, New Year's Day.
Yeah, like there is that thread of vulnerability that you see in this album.
And then I was thinking about her with like people like Ava or people like the councilwoman. And I was thinking about, this is why we can't have nice things. And look what you made me do. So, it's not all just like love and softness and butterflies. I also just think like sonically, she would love cleaning the house to the song. I don't know why that's the picture that popped into my head. I was trying to picture the characters like listening to the albums and what they'd be doing.
No, I could see her like playing rep in the science lab at work.
Honestly, this is a really good stimming album. Like if you really need to like focus, because it's just got like really, really good beats. This is a really beat heavy album.
Yeah, like the synth beats are very heavy in this one.
Yeah.
That I understand what you mean. Yeah. I like that too, and I like finding those similarities between Athena and Karen in that way.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat. On to the next.
Yes.
Lover. So I picked Karen. Well, Rachel and I picked Karen.
I was trying to see if like we ended up with the same for all of them, but we didn't. Just a lot of them.
Almost.
Okay, so Lover, the album, is, like, it's kind of one of those, like, kind of like what we said about Reputation, like the whole duality thing. When I was thinking about Karen for Lover, I was thinking about, like, some of that anxiety that she would have when it comes to her relationship with Hen, and, like, the whole Eva situation, and then, like, how some of that would resurface and resurface and resurface. So that's why. And then I think there's some cute songs in there that could go either of the ways.
Oh, hang on.
But unfortunately, Lover is one of those albums that I don't really listen to as much, except for the radio hits. So I don't know if Rachel can come save me.
Yeah, so I put Karen as well. Similarly, I think there's like, as we were just talking about how like the strength that Karen has as well. But I feel like there is that, do I keep saying undercurrent? I'm trying not to overuse that. Like with Lover, there is this insecurity that is kind of a constant. Just, I feel like Reputation and Lover are very similar in these kind of like bait and switch ways. So Karen also like puts on a strong front and is just like generally she's like strong yet soft. However, when something like, puts a dent in her, I don't want to say armor again, but essentially that's what I mean. It kind of spirals kind of quickly, and we've seen her when, I think mostly with stuff with Hen, like Ava, and even as recently in season 8 with the Halloween episode Masks, and how, you know, her being kind of unhappy about Hen missing out on some of these big moments for the kids. Like, it's not necessarily like about Karen herself, but it's just, it's this want to keep things together, like keep her family together and keep, you know, everybody safe and happy. And when something threatens that, I feel like she can kind of either lash out or spiral or something, essentially. And that kind of gave me a little bit of Lover, because it is generally like a, you know, it is all about love, right? And Karen is all about love and loving her family. I feel like Karen is so, like, one of the pillars of her character is keeping her family together and keeping them happy and strong. And if something threatens that, she goes on I wouldn't necessarily like say defensive, but like she gets very wrapped up in that, you know?
I know this album really well because it was the first one I devoured and listened to on repeat for, I'm not kidding, like 6 months when this came out. I don't hate that read. I don't hate this album for her. I originally had Athena here for all of the reasons that you guys just said.
I was also thinking about Athena.
And we talked about Athena and Karen having similar attributes. But then because I needed to move Athena to Fearless, this slot opened up. And I was really deliberating like where to put Josh, because I thought a couple different ones. Like, I really think that 1989 would work for him, but that was very much Chimney. So like he could not have it. I'm sorry, Josh. I mean, if you want to have some more gay on gay crime, that's on you, but that's not what we're doing right here. So I really actually thought that he would really vibe with this album because Lover is a misnomer. This isn't really an album about being in love.
Mm-hmm.
It's an album about being insecure and anxious and feeling like you need to hold on tight because you're scared. And then I also think it's a concept album too, so it is talking about like different kinds of love here. So like you have familiar love, you have friendship, and then you have romantic love, and then you have like different feelings or different stages of love. And I just think that Josh would enjoy that because, much like Chimney, he likes a good kiki, something that's very dramatic, you know what I mean? I think he would really enjoy I Forgot That You Existed. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I could just see him putting that on like as his like morning affirmation song.
Oh my god.
I could see that too.
And just like I can just see him like driving on the way to work. Cruel Summer, The Man, Paper Rings, because it's so cutesy, and like he is a romantic.
He is a little cutesy romantic guy.
London Boy, because you can't tell me that like he wouldn't love a man with a British accent. And then You Need to Calm Down, duh,
obvious
reasons. Me, which controversial
to that.
I love that song. So sorry. Sorry if you don't have taste. No, I think it's just a fun song, and I don't know why people hate it so much. I could list off the top of my head 10 songs that I have the feeling that most people have, or like the internet seems to have about me. Anyway, then I think like It's Nice to Have a Friend, it's like very him and Maddie coded. And then you have like, I really think that he also likes to listen to sad songs and cry in the dark. So I can just see him listening to The Archer, and I'm sorry, I know people are like, The Archer is like so slow and it lags, but that is a sad song and that's why it lags. I know it's like a mid-tempo, so people are confused about it, I think.
It's one of the best songs on that album.
Lyrically, it is so good, but it's very sad.
It's so
because
sad.
It's saying, please don't leave me, basically. It's saying, you know, everyone has always left me. Please don't leave me. Anyway, and then we have
preview of who we will probably resort that song to.
Yeah, I know. What a mystery. Then we have Death by a Thousand Cuts, which is the best Taylor Swift bridge. I will die on that fucking hill until she writes one that's better. A couple TTPD ones come close. But yeah, oh my god, I just know that he is like vehemently singing along to the bridge of that song while he's wine drunk.
Josh went to the Eras tour and had a great time,
Yes.
okay? He sang to every single song. Who did he go with, though?
Maddie.
He would have gone with
Oh.
Maddie, right?
Yeah.
I obviously would have gone with Maddie. Or
I think they would have gone with
third
May.
option, Maddie and Buck. That is my headcanon.
Well, like, Maddie would have obviously had to bring Chimney, right?
And Jiyeon. Oh, and the kids.
And Ji-yoon. And, like, I feel like May would have really wanted to go.
118 Eras tour. Oh my god. You guys, I need people to talk to us and tell us what you think everyone's Eras tour outfits would be. Because that's very important.
We need to know this.
We need to know this
We
is very
wanna see-
important.
Like, if you have art, send us art.
Mhm.
Like,
If you
describe
have-
it to us. Like,
If you have a mood board, like
oh my god, no, like,
anything,
seriously?
please. I need to see it.
What would the 118 and the Fire Fam and everyone on 911, what would their Eras tour outfits be? Please send in your answers. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I don't care. Anywhere, email it to us. I want to know.
Bobby wearing a Who Is Taylor Swift Anyway
Bobby,
shirt.
Bobby would be wearing the Taylor Swift dad shirts, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he would.
Like, choose your favorite one and that's it.
You can't convince me that Bobby didn't go to Pride with Buck and wear a free hugs,
Free dad hugs.
free dad hugs
Mhm.
shirt. Anyway,
100%.
that's Lover. Yeah, I don't know. I think Josh would fucking love that album
Mm-hmm.
as much as I love that album.
I love that.
Folklore.
Into folklore.
I have Buck here. And mostly because, okay, so again, kind of like what I said earlier in the episode, this was kind of the album that I listened to a lot. Because I guess it resonated on like these themes where it's like, well, I might as well just, okay, I'm just gonna just name some songs. Exile, My Tears Ricochet, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Hoax. I mean, there's just
Mirror Ball.
Mirror Ball.
Oh.
There's just so many songs here where I'm just like, yeah, these are a lot. Buck, like, oh
just
my
like
God.
go down the track list and it's like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even have Buck here, like, spoiler alert. But he is my secret other option. Not a secret.
Cardigan, like that used
Mhm.
cardigan.
He's pretty much literally every single song on
Yeah.
here.
yeah, like,
Mhm.
because I also have Buck and this was the only one I could put him. I was trying to like, you know, experiment, see what else like other characters would fit, because I was like, this is so obviously Buck, but like, it's because it is. Like every single song,
Like,
just-
spoiler alert, I guess for when we do lyric by lyric, it's gonna be Buck heavy.
Yeah.
I mean,
So sorry.
also,
on this one, we'll probably try to find some, you know, secret second options as well,
Yeah.
just to make it a little
Feel like
more interesting.
I feel
You guys
like-
will. I'm gonna say, I see Buck, I says Buck.
No, I actually feel like it's going to be a struggle to find a secret second option for me on this one. I don't know. I just know
I'll-
that
Kind of similar
I'll
to how it
try.
was for TTPD.
being as an insecure person, I don't know, like
Mm.
sad and depressed, feeling like not really wanted around sometimes. I don't know. Like that's internally, this is Buck right here.
Yeah, I mean,
Folklore is very much a Love Me Anyway album.
Yeah.
yeah, and I do have, you know, in my typical deep dive, our Jaws of Life segments, I always have like the press articles and everything, and I have one piece
Oh.
of piece of evidence that is like not just my opinion, our opinion, whatever, but Oliver Stark did did you knew where I was going with this. Oliver Stark,
I just remembered the exact wording.
Mhm. There was a tweet to this. I didn't find the tweet, but there's an article. Oliver Stark did an interview with Screen Rant. This was from September of 2022. So this would have been like just
2
before
years ago.
Midnight's was
Oh, yeah.
announced or dropped, I think. So at one point at the very end of the article, the interviewer said that this question came from a fan. The interviewer was curious themselves, like, do you think Buck is a Taylor Swift fan? And Oliver Stark said, I can see that. I can see Buck rocking out to some Taylor Swift on the way to work. I think Buck likes to get a little bit into his feelings. So maybe the Folklore album, I know, shocking, right? So maybe the Folklore album on the way to work and singing out loud in his car. I 100% see that. And then you got confirmation, tell them it's official. So I would also just like to put that into the evidence of Oliver Stark said so, and that we are all correct here. Buck likes to get into his feelings a little bit. It's like, yeah, we know.
No shit.
So just like as an aside, like a little other fun like piece of evidence.
You don't need evidence, you just need ears.
Everything
and reading comprehension.
Or
this album,
eyes to read
everything
the lyrics.
about this album is just it's so Buck. And I love it so much. So, Han, who did you put?
So because I couldn't actually put Buck on 3 albums,
you were tempted to, I know.
I almost gave him 2. I almost tried to shave Ravi or Josh off. I'm so sorry, because I really felt like he really needed to be 2, but I played by the rules. Obviously, it's Buck, but we're talking about vibes here.
Mm-hmm.
So I put Robbie, and admittedly have a little hard time placing him, and again really wanted to put him in 1989, but Chimney is the king of that, so could not put him there because I can just picture him vibing to that really well. So then I was like, where would he go? And we don't know a lot about Ravi, but like he's giving me a little bit hipster vibes. And kind of a hipster consensus of people, because like a multitude of people have become fans of Taylor Swift over the past 4 years who weren't previously Taylor Swift fans. I just meet the criteria before that because I came here for Lover. But a big album that got a lot of people into Taylor Swift who didn't like her before was Folklore, because it was very different sonically. Mm-hmm. And kind of lyrically, because it was very much like her trying to, I think, this was like her first foray really into kind of like a poetic type of cohesive storytelling where like they're fictional stories, but they're still very based on her life.
Right. Didn't she recently say like, yeah, she was like, I think she said at like one of the tours, like she was kind of
she
like,
can say it now that her and Joe are broken up, but it would be super awkward.
Yeah.
I was like,
she did,
and these are still based on my life.
I think she did kind of own up to saying like, she was funneling like her life through different characters, and it's like, yeah, we got that.
We've been new, but thanks for telling us, I guess. So anyway, I think this would have been a situation where Robbie thought he was too cool for a Taylor Swift until Folklore came out. So I put him as a Folklore girly. And I really think that this album, like all the albums, runs the emotional gambit. But this is one of the most mature ones, I think, because we have stories all the way from a teenage love affair to like divorce. So I think that there is a lot of emotionality to get into, and I think that Ravi would really enjoy the storytelling of it, because he just seems to like lurk and observe at the 118. And I know we have so many headcanons for Ravi in the fandom and in fanfics, but that seems to be a consensus, is that he like
is just
he loves them, but he's trying to like maintain a certain degree of like separation from like the craziness, but he loves the drama. So I think he would enjoy this album because of that. And I also think that, canonically, because of the storylines that we do see him go through of being someone who is new to a really difficult job and feeling like really insecure and unsure of themselves, to like finally seeming to like come into his own, only to fall back and be like question if he belongs there at all. So I really think that there are some good songs here for that maybe he listened to on repeat while he was trying to decide if he should be,
Aw.
you know, if he was doing, like, initially before that incident, if he was, like, you know, trying to hype himself up
Right.
before work, or when he was trying to figure out, like, if he still wanted to do it. Things like mirror ball, things like this is me trying
Mm,
would be things that he would really identify with.
yeah.
I don't know anything about his romantic life.
I don't think we know anything.
I was like, I thought I did, and then I was like, oh no, that's just a thing that people have consistently said in fanfic. That, like, are you confusing fic for real
Yeah.
life again? Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
just for us. I'm just
That
curious.
he's dating someone from Dispatch, but, like, trying to hide it from people. I can't remember her name.
I
Like,
haven't-
consistently in several fics, I have read this.
I haven't seen that. I see like a lot of people
Yeah.
shipping him with Albert.
I see that too. But obviously that's not on the show. So, like, I think
No.
that, like, him dating someone in Dispatch and, like, Buck or someone finding out about it, or Chimney, and, like, him being like, don't tell anyone, like, I'm trying to, like, not have everyone, you know how they are.
They're all
take
up in
the piss out
everybody's
of him.
business.
Like, oh yeah, exactly. They would give him such a hard time out of love, of course.
Of
But
course.
yeah, so I really think he actually would like this album. And it's very, again,
Yeah.
a hipster album.
I get
Which is the
that.
reasons I love it so much.
Those are good reasons.
Thank you.
It's still Buck to me though. I can't put
Well,
anyone else there.
Duh, but I can't
I know.
put him in more than one place. Or he would have been 3 albums.
I
And
know.
Josh and Robbie would not have been here.
Oh, thank you for including them. They are also here.
They are also here.
Yeah. Had to be
So true.
fair.
Evermore? Or,
What's
Yeah.
this one called?
well,
Folklore.
I can't go that well.
Evermore. It's Evermore. Yeah, it's really low. Her lower register is insane, man. I
I
have
know,
to have,
right?
like, morning voice for that shit.
Yeah. I have Robbie here for Evermore, and I've got no reasons for that.
Was he the last one that
Vibes.
you
Yeah.
put in?
Yeah. I can make an argument. I mean, not an argument. I could just be like, kind of the same thing to what Han was saying about Folklore. I think what I was thinking of was Robbie's canonically Gen Z.
I think so. Pretty sure.
And I was wondering, I think when I was like making this placement, and it probably didn't really influence my placement of him, but I was like kind of wondering, I was like, okay, what are the kids that are getting into Taylor Swift? Like, what are they
Kids
listening
these days.
to?
What do the streets say?
Chat.
Like, it's not going to be debut. It's not going to be Fearless, Speak Now. It's not going to be, at least I feel like it's not going to be any of
Kids
those.
have recency bias.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, if Robbie, for some reason, got into Taylor Swift pretty late in the game, yeah, it could be Folklore, but it can also be Evermore, especially they kind of came out the same year, either way. So, I don't know. I guess that kind of just works out. And then he got into Folklore, and then that was probably the one that solidified for him. See? Connecting the dots.
You did it.
Like, shit.
Did it.
Oh, I love that. I put Maddie in Evermore. I mean, Folklore and Evermore are just so connected. Like, there's so much connective tissue there. So, I mean, just from that basis alone, I feel like it can make sense to have Buck and Maddie, operate in these 2 albums, but they're like a lot of the content of Evermore is, just tolerate it, I think I was pinpointing this a little more about like Maddie and having to like being a survivor and having to like endure Doug, like happiness as well. I kept thinking about like there will be happiness after you. I know like all of the lyrics for that don't necessarily like fit perfectly, but I don't know. I feel like Evermore has this kind of vibe of like kind of surviving in the wilderness. There's a lot of like cowboy-y stuff, which I know like can also work for, huh?
You said cow, and then that word was finished, and I was like,
Sorry,
where's she going?
it was extended. It has a lot of like,
Okay.
it has some like cowboy aesthetic.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeehawedness, which
It's like cows in the wilderness.
it's the wild is right in the wilderness. Sorry, I was at Magic Kingdom earlier today. So Thunder Mountain. So like in that same vein, I'm thinking about, you know, like that element of having to survive in rougher environments and stuff like that. And to me, specifically because Buck was so much more folklore to me, this kind of made sense to put with Maddie and how like she is a survivor. And I think that's how I landed on that. Closure is also there. Like, it's time to go.
Champagne problems, maybe? I don't remember that song much.
Maybe, I mean, maybe a little bit from like before she like, I feel like Champagne Problems and The Last Great American Dynasty for me are kind of Buck and Maddie coded in terms of like them still like being at home in Pennsylvania, like before they left, like with their parents and everything like that. That's all I've got at the moment. That's what I'm feeling with that. Anyways, so like I would kind of equate those kind of similarly. I don't know, just like Folklore, Evermore, sister albums, brother-sister placements, make sense. Oh,
I can't believe you just got there.
What did she say? I did not.
Oh, I said like Folklore, Evermore, sister albums. I was like brother, sister placements.
It's like surely she's going to bring it up.
Makes sense to me. This was my concluding argument. Okay. I was building up to it, okay? Because that was the obvious.
I was like, there's also murder in this album.
There is also murder.
She's got murder and everything after this album. Interesting.
That is true.
Murder.
Midnight.
No, we need...
Oh, I'm like trying to go. I'm sorry.
I've been sitting here patiently waiting you guys sort the wrong people into this album, okay?
Listen, no one is right. No one is wrong.
Sure, but I'm right. I'm the most right about this one. Talk to the wall. Okay, anyway.
I'm trying to talk to you. I'll talk to the wall.
Okay.
I
really wanted to give Buck Folklore, and I tried to reason it by saying, well, she combined them into one set because she was like, they're sister albums. She probably like wrote them at the same fucking time, split them into two. Anyway, so yeah, he's Folklore, and I had trouble actually letting go of that one, but not as much as I had trouble letting go of Red. So it came down to Red in this one for me, and I think I'm going with my recent Buck storylines. And so right now he is in his Evermore era. This album for me is about the pining. It's about the pining. It's about the ruminating on all of your relationships and everything that's gone wrong. It's ruminating on it's a little nostalgic too. A little bit of that thrown in there, but I think it's one of the most in your own fucking head albums. Maybe if not,
it's up there with Midnight's.
Oh god.
Yeah, but he is not Midnight's.
No, but like the amount of that, like it's stuck in your head, sort of.
Yeah, this is very much like an in your head of all those emotions I'm talking about, and that's literally Buck to a T. So anyway, this is where he's at right now, because before he got into his most recent relationship, he very much was looking back on, and I think he does this after every new failed relationship, and he looks back and he's like, why does this keep happening, right? And he keeps coming back to like he's the reason. So there's a lot of that on here on this album, but there is also a lot of being like, okay, but it's not just me. Being like, I'm trying, like I'm throwing myself into these relationships, and I'm trying to be all in, and you're just tolerating it. Where do I even want to start here? Oh my god. So many of these are about Eddie, Willow, Gold Rush.
Gold Rush, yeah.
Like from Buck's POV.
Definitely Gold Rush.
Coney Island.
Yep.
Ivy, Cowboy Like Me.
Ivy's my favorite from
Evermore, Right Where You Left Me.
That one is yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I was very much like, this is where he's at right now, right? Even though he's not like quite, at the time that we're recording this, he's not quite actually fully conscious of that. He's already experiencing those emotions, and he has been, but they're just like getting more and more towards the surface. So yeah, there's the pining, and then there's also the, okay, but I've grown enough to know, like when I deserve better. Hopefully, by the time this is out, he will have learned when it's time to go. I know, though, that he's sitting, staring at that man, thinking about killing him. Look at those faces in episode 5 and tell me he's not murdering him in his mind. He's so fed up. What's the opposite of character bleed?
Anyway, no body, no crime.
Still think it's very Buck, right? So he's like, because he's trying, but he's like, literally, what is your problem? Like, every time you look at him in the episode, he's like, what is your problem? You knew I was this person when you started dating me. Anyway.
Is there a tweet or something where Oliver replied that he likes no body, no crime or something?
Maybe.
I could have sworn I saw that.
I think so.
Maybe.
So. Because I think someone asked about this
Who
on Twitter.
wouldn't like that song?
But I mean, it's
be
all
honest.
But it specifically because of this.
Yeah, so anyway, this is very much where Buck is. He's in his pining era.
Do you think that's why she had all of those pine trees for the set?
Well, it's the winter album, but yeah, that's hilarious.
I had to throw a pun in here.
I don't know why you do that when I have to, even though I know you're joking, give my autistic literal response.
It's our shtick.
I don't know. I think Ivy. Ivy is the song of the moment right now. And hopefully we're going to see it be even more once he has these feelings realization.
Whoa.
Are we ready to talk about Midnights?
Midnights.
So these last two we are unanimous on. And I think this was one of the first that I tended to think of and never really strayed away from.
Same.
Like some of the others, I was like, no, that's too obvious. Let me think of something else. This one, I was just like, I don't need to think anymore. This is it.
This is Henrietta.
Yay. Henrietta. Or Hen. For Han, you mentioned like Evermore was like one of the most in your head albums. To me, Midnights is the most like ruminating, like constantly like going over things. I mean, the whole concept of Midnights is, you know, like those 13 sleepless nights sort of thing. And just like very much up in your head about so many different things. And I think we've talked about like Hen is very like she's logical, but she also like she operates internally. Like she goes through everything in her head as opposed to like externally like asking people for advice or like confiding in them first. Like she goes through it through her head first and then she like looks at other options of stuff. So to me that was just Midnights.
Yeah, I agree with the like in like the album being very in your head, and I feel like a lot of the things that she does, there's a lot of internal processing, I guess I would say.
Internal processing, that's a great way.
So the difference between this and Evermore, not to say it because it seems kind of obvious, but in case it isn't, is that for Midnights is very much like a taking the thing out and putting it in front of you and just looking at it and reflecting on it in like not fully a logical way,
it's almost
like not
more
a detached
scientific
way, but it is more, like like a peer review, but by yourself.
Yeah.
And then
but Evermore is more like feeling.
Evermore is literally just like in your feelings, almost spiraling at some point. It's just like being stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Right? Like Hen lives there of her own volition. And she does spiral sometimes when she can't get out of her head. But most of the time, she's just happy to be there. Whereas like Buck does need to process things in a healthy way outside of his own head.
Yeah.
So that's why Evermore is very much more a Buck thing. But yeah, for me, this was just an immediate Hen thing, just like sonically.
That too.
This is what I can see her listening to, dancing with Karen and Denny around their house.
Oh, like all of them and like Denny and Mara and like dancing to Bejeweled.
Bejeweled, Lavender Haze, Karma.
I mean, honestly, like having Karma on Midnights, that's automatically gonna make it a Hen album to me. Like we've had so much emphasis on like the idea of Karma relating to Hen. Like that just is what it is. in the show.
I think a very specific song that pops out to me for her is Would've, Could've, Should've, because it's very much Ava.
Yes.
Her looking back at her relationship with Ava. There's so many her and Karen songs on here.
Yes.
And very much, there's so many, this might have the most number of songs that's like, I'm actually the best and a badass. It's like so funny because there's also these like really, not insecure, but like introspective of being like, I'm kind of a fuck up. But it's also on the other side of the coin. It's like,
mastermind.
Also I'm like the best and I'm super smart. And that just seems like it oozes her brand of like, just like swagger and confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. Just like Midnight's does have a specific flavor of like swagger to it that I don't think we see as much of in like Lover, Folklore, Evermore. Like basically that we haven't seen since like Reputation or 1989. And I feel like Hen does embody that.
I also feel like she was in her vigilante shit era a couple of times with like the Jonah and like the councilwoman. So I think that's the one that really also resonated to be her for Midnights.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you for saying that.
Maybe it's the Karma. Also, wait. Also Karma? And the Karma's a bit like, I mean, Karma's a bitch. I mean, I know, like, they don't, like, lyrically, the story doesn't really do the
just,
thing.
Like, conceptually.
But conceptually, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It just makes sense. Like, we spent so much of talking about Hen in season 1 in regards to, like,
karma is a trigger word.
Yeah, karma is a trigger word. And now, like, anytime we think about karma, we're like, Hen. Are we ready?
If you haven't figured it out by now, or if you hadn't already figured it out by ever listening to this album, Tortured Poets Department is about Eddie.
Yeah, I think us talking about Eddie in terms of like Taylor Swift stuff, like this is what kind of inspired us to do this little series, right? Because, so I guess when TTPD came out, it was like April 19th. So
it came out the week we decided to do the podcast. I'm not kidding.
No, it was
because it came out the same week that I was at the wedding, and that was the week that we decided to do the podcast. April 19th is the day it came out, so April 18th we were listening to it at midnight when it released, and I had just gotten back from the wedding on this night of the 17th, and I had been down at the wedding, I think it was the 16th. So
right, okay. Yeah. So,
but while I was at my best friend's wedding at the Outer Banks, I got a text from Syl that was like, we have some ideas we got to talk about when you get back. And I was like, you're going to have to tell me what it is now. Cause like, I
think this was I feel like this was a Twitter exchange because
because
Rachel
a text
showed up. Rachel
I think it was a group text.
Oh yeah, I think it was.
Actually, we should put this in documents like for posterity. But anyway, I was like, you know that I have no patience, so you're gonna have to tell me what that is. And you were just like, LOL, we're making a podcast. Like it wasn't a question. And it was only like 4 words.
This all happened very quickly. So I think we all hopped on to watching 911, very soon after Buck Bothered and Bewildered, which was like April 4th. So to me, I think Tortured Poets Department is always going to be like tied into 911 for me, just because it was like something brand new and then something brand new. So like they imprinted on each other on my brain. So like I'm always going to associate with it. And I think, like as we were watching from, like season 1, we were also very much listening to Tortured Poets Department. And I think very quickly we were like, wait, we can relate this character to this album. And it just stuck.
Listen, this came out a couple weeks before the fucking Vertigo storyline started.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. Like, what came out that we were like... It came
out a couple weeks before that storyline started, in which we very only jokingly came up with a theory in which we were like, Eddie's obviously going to be put into a 72-hour hold in a psych ward.
We were joking, but we were also like, no, that's going to happen.
No, we were so serious. Yeah. We had like that that first episode of that fucking broke us. Like, we were talking for like 3 to 4 hours, literally just about that after the episode was over.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Tim Minear thinks that he rushed that storyline and he wanted like another 2 episodes for it to really breathe. And like, I get it because of like a short season. And we've said that like, we think it's a good season, but could have used more room to breathe. So like, obviously he is smart and he knows that. But I still think it was a great fucking storyline because literally
it had us on the
stop thinking about it.
It had us on the edge of our seats like the whole time. We were just like, what is happening?
What's gonna happen next? What's gonna do? And from the beginning we were like, Christopher can't see her. Christopher can't. No.
No. So like, we do have our reaction up on our live reaction.
Oh yeah,
to that episode. Was that Ashes?
I think so.
On YouTube, and like our faces, like sometimes I'll just this is weird, but sometimes I'll just go back and like rewatch that little clip, you know, when like Marisol and Christopher are like coming in and they're seeing like Eddie and Kim, and we're all just like absolutely dying.
I think I yelled jail just like 20 times.
You yelled.
You yelled
so many times. I'm like this.
I started choking on air.
You choked, like, and you screamed. You were like dog whistle level.
Yeah,
like pitch level of screaming.
Surprised you didn't activate the need for the inhaler.
For real. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, she has a whole, what is it? The like intro to this album that she did. Mm-hmm. What's it called? She wrote a thing. What the fuck is it called? Hold on.
Like a prologue, or
I think it was a prologue.
Yeah, prologue poem. But then she also did like a written thing. But basically, in those things, she's explaining that like, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she starts it off. At this hearing, I stand before my fellow members of the Torture Poets Department with a summary of a few of my findings, being like, I went crazy, but like, here's why. So, but just like, come with me on this journey. Just like, understand. But just like, understand that I knew I was crazy.
Oh, hang on. You first. Say that again. Understand that you knew I was crazy.
I just need you to understand that I know that this was crazy. Okay?
She really said, I'm going to hold your hand while I tell you this.
Yes. That's a whole poem that basically just means that. So yeah, because I think that's just a great way of like summarizing like how whole 7B now into 8 is going for Eddie. Which is very much that he had experienced a mental break. You could say from literally trauma after trauma from the moment that we've met him, but also the trigger of when he was like, I'm gonna blow up my entire fucking life.
Yep. From
episode 5.
Oh my god.
So
I mean, I don't
episode
blame
5
him.
of season 7.
Don't blame him. You really did eat that hag?
Love made him crazy. Literally broke his fucking brain. Anyway, it broke his little brain. And instead of doing what like they normally do when like one of them is dating another person, they're like, that's fine. I'll just go be in a relationship too. Because you're now emotionally cheating. I'm emotionally cheating.
We're in it together.
Yeah, but this time he was like, but wait, that's an option? Well, I can't explore why that makes me so uncomfy and jealous, so I'm gonna go blow up my life about it.
We're not gonna we don't have time to unpack all that. Like,
no. Basically.
So I'm going to do something absolutely super destructive to my own life and relationship. And just like all relationships. And if that's not the vibe of TTPD, I don't know what else is.
So just like how I said Evermore is like where Buck is right now, this is where Eddie is right now. It is not a good place.
No, we're very concerned. And also like,
this is an intervention.
This is an intervention. Yeah, like just points to entire album. It's like,
I feel like there's like no explanation needed. But
Listen,
we're gonna do
there
that.
will be no explanation. Only the edification.
Just this man right here, the embodiment of TTPD.
Listen, and like when we when we do the whole album for the song by song, just know that like we had to try really hard to make not
all
3/4 of these songs about him.
Which
hope what's new.
If you know us at all,
you know that we have a gift, a special talent for making
everything about
anything
Eddie.
about Eddie.
And you know what? He deserves it.
He does. You know?
And so do I.
So do we. I mean, let's just call out some greatest hits here, like
the number one, Guilty as Sin.
The Eddie Diaz national anthem. Just all of us like shaking our heads, just like the whole thing. The whole thing is Eddie. Like
it is, but Guilty as Sin, yeah, that's
one of
the biggest ones. Loss of my life. There's so much like unpacking religious trauma in this album. Again, either she wrote this about Eddie or they were on the same journey.
Twin journeys.
Both unpacking gender norms and compet and
It's just like, it's wild how many similarities there are here, and it's just like, okay, are we sure that she hasn't watched the show? Because sometimes it's just like scary how like accurate or like applicable some of these things are, and it's just like, I don't know how she does it.
But yeah, to hear more about how a lot of these songs are about Eddie, you'll have to tune into our next episode and the next episode. The next 2 episodes are going to be TTPD. We split it into 2 episodes because it's basically 2 albums. So that way you don't have to listen to an extremely long episode of us talking about how Taylor Swift loves Eddie Diaz. which
would not be out of the norm for us.
So happy Thanksgiving if you are in the US, and even if you aren't, we just want to say that we're thankful for all of you for listening to us in our sometimes silly, sometimes serious,
mostly a little bit of both.
And a lot of silly.
Yeah, hopefully always entertaining little podcast. We have so much fun doing this. We obviously already loved each other. We're very good friends. We just really love doing this, putting it out there, and
being able to share it with everyone who's listening.
It's just so much fun. So thank you for encouraging us to continue doing it.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
We really appreciate all of the, I guess, kind of like encouragement that we've been getting and like acceptance putting these things out, and I hope you continue to enjoy, because we're going to continue to enjoy making it. So
yeah, this was our first Taylor Swift, and definitely not our last Taylor Swift special.
Absolutely not.
For Christmas, we had the first part of TTPD. Yeah, we can't wait to tell you how crazy Eddie Diaz is. Not that you don't know.
If you had any doubts, well, you sure won't when you hear it next.
After that episode.
Remember, don't listen to Taylor Swift and think about 911 characters.
But if you do,
take a buddy with you.
Thank you for listening to the Buddy System podcast from start to finish.
We literally cannot shut up about 911, so please come talk to us on your favorite social media platform.
We are at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to get a personal shout out in the next episode. The Buddy System is a Nerd Virgin media production featuring music from Divinity.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to exclusive content and our Discord community.
Catch you next time, and don't forget,
bring a buddy with you.